The best thing I ever let slip. Ever accidentally sent a text to the wrong person? Now imagine doing that with your heart. That's this story. I'm not telling this to make you like me. I'm telling it because pretending it didn't happen is exhausting. I'm 25. My name is Harper. And this is the story of how I let go of someone I probably never truly deserved. At the time, I was working 2 jobs, stocking shelves at a grocery store during the week and bartending on weekends to cover rent. My life was the kind of chaos you romanticize in your 20s. Loud nights, tired mornings, and just enough unpredictability to convince yourself you're living. And then I met Noah. It was a casual hangout at my roommate's older brother's apartment. Low lighting, folding chairs, someone's Bluetooth speaker struggling for attention over cheap beer conversations. Nothing remarkable. Except for him. Noah stood out, not because he was flashy, but because he wasn't. Tall, steady, with kind eyes and a worn corduroy jacket. He spoke like someone who didn't need to raise his voice to be heard. When he asked what I did, it wasn't to judge. It was curiosity, plain and real. He remembered the name of my rescue dog, Daisy, and didn't just laugh at my jokes. He repeated them later like they stuck with him. He was 27. A systems analyst who volunteered at a local shelter on Sundays. A guy who didn't just talk about being thoughtful, he was thoughtful. After years of dating men who treated vulnerability like a trapdoor, Noah felt like the first time someone handed me a seatbelt in a speeding car. Here's something I used to believe, maybe still do, on my bad days. If you let someone in too fast, they'll find the exits faster. So I took it slow. Not because I didn't like Noah, I did. But because the last time I dove headfirst into something I hit concrete. So I played the long game. Talked about taking things slow. About boundaries. About how I wasn't into hookup culture anymore. And how I wanted something solid. Sounded like wisdom. Like maturity. In truth, it was part strategy, part fear. And the messed up part. It worked. Noah respected every wall I built. He didn't just back off, he leaned in where it mattered. Late night walks. Thoughtful playlist. Sunday coffee runs where he remembered I hate sweetener but love oat milk. I told myself this is what growth looks like. But while Noah was planting roots in my life, someone else was still living in my blind spot. Asterisk, Eli asterisk. We met months before Noah, swiping right on a night I'd promised myself I wouldn't. Eli was adrenaline in a hoodie. Fast-talking, wild-eyed, allergic to commitment but magnetic as hell. He didn't ask about my day. He asked if I wanted to skip it. And sometimes I did. With Eli it was never about the future. Just right now. And I kept him around for that reason. Because he scratched the itch that intimacy sometimes couldn't. Because I didn't want to feel like I belonged to anyone. Because I thought if I gave Noah everything and he left, I'd be left with nothing. So I compartmentalized. Asterisk Noah was the maybe, the what if, the real possibility. Asterisk Eli was the escape hatch. Habit. A trap I pretended I controlled. Was it selfish? Definitely. But I called it protection. I told myself I was just keeping options open. What I was really doing was building a house and sneaking out the back door every night. Noah never pressured me, not for anything. But I could tell he wanted more. To be closer. To trust that this thing between us wasn't just floating. And every time we got close, every time the moment turned warm and vulnerable, I found a reason to shut the window. Asterisk, I'm just not ready. Asterisk. Asterisk, let's not rush this. Asterisk. Asterisk, I've made mistakes moving too fast before. Asterisk. Each sentence rehearsed, polished, dipped in enough honesty to sound believable. Meanwhile, I was still slipping into Eli's bed some nights. Not for love. Not even for comfort. Just to feel like I still had control over something. Noah never called me out. Maybe he didn't want to see it. Maybe he did see it and hoped I'd find my way back to him completely. It was supposed to be a regular Thursday. Noah texted me excitedly. He wanted me to meet a new coworker he'd become friends with. Said we could grab dinner, get drinks, hang out. I hesitated but said yes. We met at a cozy little restaurant downtown. Noah looked happy, nervous even. I remember thinking, Asterisk, he really likes me. He trusts me, Asterisk. Then his friend walked in. Eli, wearing the same black jacket I'd tugged off of him the weekend before, smiling like he already knew the ending of the story. When our eyes met, I felt the bottom drop out of my stomach. Noah waved him over cheerfully. I wanted to crawl under the table. Asterisk, Eli, this is Harper. Asterisk. Eli grinned. Asterisk, oh, we've met. Haven't we, Harp? Asterisk. I wanted to disappear. Noah blinked. Asterisk, seriously. You two know each other. Asterisk. Eli leaned back in his chair, sipping his drink like it was theater. Asterisk, yeah. We hung out. Few times. Nothing heavy. Right, Harp. Asterisk. The silence that followed felt like glass shattering in slow motion. I opened my mouth, scrambling for spin, logic, anything. Asterisk, it was casual. Before you and I got serious. Asterisk. Noah looked at me with something I hadn't seen in his face before. Distance. And then he stood up. Quietly. Left enough money on the table to cover dinner. And walked away. He blocked my number before I made it home. No dramatic messages. No begging me for answers. Just vanished. Word traveled fast. My roommate kept her distance. Friends stopped inviting me places. I became the plot twist in someone else's group chat. Eli. He enjoyed the chaos like a bonfire. And I let him. For weeks I kept trying to justify it to myself. Asterisk, I didn't cheat. I didn't lie outright. Just blurred the lines. Asterisk. But blurred lines still hurt people. Especially when they didn't sign up for the fog. 6 months later I saw him again. Noah. Sitting on a rooftop patio downtown with someone new. She was laughing at something he said. The way I used to. And he looked peaceful. Not bitter. Not haunted. Just lighter. That's when I realized. He didn't just leave me. He healed from me. I've heard people say every villain has their version of the story. Guess this is mine. Here's the truth I never told. Asterisk, I didn't promise Noah exclusivity, but I knew what I was doing. Asterisk, Eli didn't mean anything, but I gave him space that belonged to someone real. Asterisk, I sabotaged the most sincere connection I've ever had because I thought it was only a matter of time before I lost it anyway. Do I regret it? Depends on the night. Noah was the best thing that ever happened to me. But I wasn't the best thing for him. Maybe I never could have been.